lived a man known as Kamau, a name whispered with fear and intrigue. Hello, viewers. You are now watching African Folktales by EC. Please subscribe to this channel and thank to those who have subscribed before. In the bustling city of Makala, nestled between rolling savannas and dense forests, lived a man known as Kamau, a name whispered with fear and intrigue. To outsiders, Kamau was a successful merchant who dealt in rare goods, exquisite carvings, rare herbs, and talismans said to contain the power of ancestors. But within the shadowy alleys of Makala, rumors swirled about the true source of his wealth. Kamau, it was said, trafficked in something far darker: human bodies. The first to notice Kamau's peculiar fortune was Mama Chiku, a market woman who sold roasted maize. Kamau started out with nothing, she told anyone who would listen. He was just a wanderer, carrying a sack of odd trinkets. Now he owns half the market stalls and lives in a house with gates so high they scrape the clouds. Indeed, Kamau's rise was meteoric and mysterious. By day, he moved through Makala's markets with an air of confidence, his sharp eyes scanning for potential clients. By night, it was said he disappeared into the dense jungle, his shadow swallowed by the trees. The jungle meeting. Kamau's story truly began 5 years earlier when, as a penniless drifter, he stumbled into a secluded part of the forest. Hungry and desperate, he had ventured deep into uncharted territory, hoping to find fruits or wild game. Instead, he found a strange, weathered man sitting by a fire. The old man wore a robe made of animal skins and had eyes like molten gold. Around him lay a ring of skulls, and the air was thick with the scent of decaying leaves. "Lost, are we?" the old man asked, his voice deep and commanding. Kamau nodded, too tired to speak. The old man gestured for Kamau to sit by the fire. He handed him a piece of roasted meat, which Kamau devoured without question. Only later would he wonder what kind of meat it was. "I see potential in you," the old man said, staring at Kamau intently. "But potential alone will not fill your belly or line your pockets. Are you willing to do what others fear?" Kamau hesitated but then nodded. His desperation outweighed his caution. The old man smiled and handed Kamau a small black box. "This is the shadow box," he explained. "It will lead you to the dead and the dying. If you follow its guidance, you will find wealth beyond your wildest dreams. But remember, the box demands loyalty and a price." Without fully understanding the pact he was making, Kamau accepted the box. That night he began his descent into darkness. The rise of a merchant. The shadow box proved to be both a blessing and a curse. It emitted a faint hum whenever Kamau was near someone close to death. At first, he used it to scavenge bodies from accidents and the outskirts of Makala, where bandits often ambushed travelers. Kamau would strip the bodies of valuables and sell them in the market. But as time went on, the box's demands grew. It began to hum even when people were alive but weak, beggars, the sick, the forgotten. Kamau, driven by greed, started luring these unfortunate souls into the forest under the guise of offering them food or work. They were never seen again. Kamau learned the art of preserving and selling human body parts, which were in high demand among certain buyers. Some were used for rituals, others for medicine. In Makala, whispers of his trade began to spread. But Kamau was careful, always covering his tracks. He made generous donations to the local elders and funded festivals, ensuring the community saw him as a benevolent figure. The hunter becomes the hunted. One day, Kamau's shadow box began to behave strangely. Instead of leading him to others, it began to hum faintly whenever he looked at his own reflection. He dismissed it as a malfunction, but a seed of unease took root in his heart. Around the same time, people in Makala started disappearing at an alarming rate, even those who had once been powerful and untouchable. Wealthy traders, influential elders, vanished without a trace. the community began to grow suspicious. Among those who sought answers was Amina, a young woman whose brother Jabari had disappeared after visiting Kamau. Amina was not like the others who whispered in fear. She was bold and determined. She began to follow Kamau, watching his movements closely. One night, she trailed him into the forest, careful to keep her distance. She watched as he approached a clearing and opened the shadow box. A low, eerie hum filled the air, and a spectral light emerged, leading him to a shallow grave. Kamau dug frantically, pulling out a body wrapped in cloth. Amina gasped, but her rage drowned out her fear. She confronted Kamau, shouting, "What have you done with my brother?" Kamau froze, his hands covered in dirt. For the first time in years, he felt fear. The box in his hands began to hum louder, almost as if mocking him. "You don't understand," Kamau stammered. "The box. It demands." But Amina was not listening. She lunged at him, and in the scuffle, the shadow box fell to the ground. To Kamau's horror, it opened, releasing a torrent of shadows that swirled around him like a cyclone. The curse of the shadow box. The shadows coalesced into the form of the old man Kamau had met years ago, but now his face was twisted with malice. "You have served me well, Kamau," the figure said, his voice echoing ominously. "But your debt is due." Kamau begged for mercy, but the old man only laughed. The shadows enveloped Kamau, and when they dissipated, he was gone. The shadow box lay silent and lifeless on the ground. Amina, shaken but alive, took the box and buried it deep in the forest, hoping to end its curse forever. She returned to Makala and revealed Kamau's dark secrets, ensuring his legacy was one of shame and horror. The legacy of fear. Years later, the people of Makala still tell the story of Kamau, the shadow merchant. They say his spirit roams the forest, searching for the box that once granted him power. Travelers are warned to stay away from the jungle at night, lest they hear the faint hum of the shadow box and fall victim to its curse. But some, driven by greed, venture into the forest, hoping to find the buried box and unlock its dark secrets. None of them ever return. This chilling tale of greed and its consequences continues to serve as a warning in Makala. Some treasures are better left undiscovered.